And I'm looking at my son, and I said, God, he's your son. If you want to take him, you can take him. I was raised in a Catholic family, and my parents were wonderful parents. I have 3 siblings, and the time that I was in Syria, which is 1974 for 20 years to 1994, Syria was safe, and minorities were protected by the president. You can practice your faith. You can all faith kind of faith people, they live together, and of course it was we can mix having breakfast, doing activities, but you cannot marry other religion. You will be rejected by society. My father was strict with us, me and my sister. My mother was raised by nuns. So they were wonderful parents. However, growing in that culture, it suppresses the woman. There are certain things you can and you cannot do. They present it as, we want to protect you because there's certain things it's not safe for you to do it here. I got married at age 23 and I came to United States. The culture effect on me showed up later in life, after I had kids, basically. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about my faith. Growing up, I never doubted God, Jesus, angels. I had a relationship with the other side. It was just there. You hear people's story, they tell you, I converted at an age. For me, no, I knew, and I felt their presence, and I had a relationship with them my entire life. And I had a gift of seeing dreams about things before it happens. I had, like, my guardian angel was always with me. So in my mind or my heart, there was no doubt. I came to United States, got married, had 2 kids. The marriage wasn't going well. I remember one night I was in agony and my kids were asleep. My husband at the time, he wasn't at home. And I was just bawling, like crying, asking for help. And I think that was the beginning of the end of my story. That was the beginning of the day I can tell you, once you know, you cannot unknow. So what happened at that moment, I basically opened the door. My heart was filled with something other than love. I was angry at the world. I was very sad. But life goes on. We had some hard time. We moved to another state. At one point, I was like, that's it, I can't do this anymore. I start having those bad thoughts in my head of ending my own life. And I was like, nope, I don't need to end my life. I can divorce. So we went through the divorce. Of course, as a Middle Eastern woman, you can't really divorce. It's against the culture. My ex-husband, he was like, no, you're not going to divorce. No, we're not. So I went through the divorce on my own, and we got to the other side of the divorce. And at that same time, my son got sick. It was actually we were supposed to go to court on Monday, and I admitted my son to the hospital on Saturday. So those 3 years where my son was sick, I can't tell you how difficult those 3 years were. I'm going to go back a little bit. Before then, when I started feeling like this is not working out for me, I need out, I forgot the love of God. And I was living my life searching for love. And I tried all religions, you name it, I tried it. And I landed at yoga. So I had yogis friends, and I was practicing yoga. It was like a religion to me. I was practicing yoga. And I got so deep into the chakras and you name it. And then I stumbled at Reiki. I just moved to San Diego, and I was searching, looking for, I'm so grateful that whatever I was looking for, it did not go through with it. I was looking into awakening the Kundalini, opening the third eye. And so I stumbled around on a Reiki, and I met my wonderful teacher. And it just happened that she had a workshop in San Diego the weekend after I called her. So I called her like Tuesday or Wednesday. So I went to that workshop. I got my Reiki certificate, and I can't tell you that experience, how powerful I felt. Like everything I was feeling is like, it's not working, and I'm so sad, and I'm so angry, and I'm looking for love, and I'm looking for this. When I got my Reiki certificate, I remember I went home. My bedroom, I had the bed, and I had the mirror right here. So I'm standing facing the mirror, and when you want to activate Reiki, you basically activate Reiki within you. So I did that, and I put my hands into the praying position, and I felt the ball here, like the ball of energy, and I opened my hands to the mirror, and the power that went out of my hands, it pushed me to the bed. Like literally, I fell on the bed. It's like, whoa, my mind was blown. And I started practicing Reiki. I got all 4 levels, and I was so deep into it. Then my son got sick. During this time, see the confusing part? I thought that I was helping people using the gift of Reiki. And I kept on going to church on Sunday because my kids were little. We had a church across the street. I kept going on to church on Sunday. I wasn't really praying or reading the Bible or anything. I was just going to church on Sunday. And I was more and more searching for Reikis and chakras and practicing the yoga poses and the Kundalini awakening. Like, how not smart for me to think of a snake coming up your spine to give you the awakening. Snake. Go back to the Genesis. The snake? That same snake. How can you think that the Kundalini will give you the enlightenment, which is the snake who was the reason of the fall of Adam and Eve? I don't know what I was thinking back then, but so my son gets sick, and I'm in the hospital for 3 years. I had to leave my other son with friends, and he wasn't doing well, and he got very sick at one point. Half of his body was shutting down. They covered one of his eyes. He didn't want to eat. He didn't want to do anything. He was just laying in bed like a pillow. And I was terrified. I was so scared. I have a children's Bible. So I grabbed the Bible and I grabbed my rosary, which I have with me. Now I always have the rosary with me. For 3 days, the light is off in the room. My son is sleeping on IV. I'm just praying nonstop, like literally nonstop. At one point, I remember I fell asleep and the angel woke me up. It's like, wake up, it's time to pray. So I woke up and I continue on praying the rosary, reading the Bible, the rosary with the flashlight, because the room is dark. My son is sleeping. And I was desperate. And I read Elijah's story. And I remember, because I used to bring the couch next to my son's bed, so we have like one big bed, because he liked to hold my hand. He just, he was like so. I remember sitting on toward the pillow, and I'm looking at my son, and I said, God, he's your son. If you want to take him, you can take him. And I think I fell asleep after that that was the third day. 3:00 in the morning, I see Jesus walking to the room from the door. And he looked like, have you ever seen the Divine Mercy picture of Jesus with the white robe and belt and the two light coming out of his heart? He looked like that. I've never seen the divine picture before, but he looked like that. And he wasn't tall. He was like 5'9". And he walked to the room and he stood at the feet of the bed. And he looked at me and he said, do not worry, I healed him. The next morning, my son wakes up. He removed the patch and he said, Mom, I'm hungry. After 3 days without eating, the room is dark. The nurses, there's one specific nurse, her name is Sally. She doesn't know that I love her so much because of this time. She kept on coming to the room and checking on me. And she would give me hugs. And I'm just sitting like very, very small, so scared. The next morning, my son, he wakes up and he's hungry and he wants to walk. And I knew that was a miracle. That wasn't something that happens. We go home, 1 year recovery. And then, life goes on. It's been, I would say 7-8 years ago. The ignorance of the human is, I went back to Reiki, but I did not abandon the praying life. What was happening at that moment, all my insecurities and childhood wounds, I realize now that I had abandonment wound. And I was seeking confirmation from people that I'm doing well, and I'm seeking validation. And little that I know that those wounds the demons are very attracted to those wounds. So I was living a parallel life of practicing Reiki full on, having clients, they lay on my table, and I thought I was helping all those people. During those sessions, sometimes I would feel the presence of evil. And I was very, very scared. And after that, I was being attacked in my bed. I would be sleeping, and this creature, he looked like a giant, I would say, lion, but it's not the head of the lion. It was very big head with like thorns and very long tail and very big muscles. He would press on me, like literally press on me, that I cannot move or breathe or anything. And I would start praying, nonstop praying. Like, Our Father, Guardian Angel, Holy Spirit. And then now I know is the minute I say, Hail Mary, full of grace, this is where he leaves. I did not know then that's what's happening. So I started when I go to bed. I wrap the rosary around my arm and I put the cross in here and I squeeze on it. And as soon as I feel the attack, I would start praying and they would leave me. I started to anoint my home with oil from the church. I wasn't aware of the power of the holy water back then, but I knew the oil. So I would anoint my oil, the house, and at the same time, I'm inviting people for Reiki sessions. They're laying on my table in my living room. And I witnessed. So my gift was visions. I would see visions. I would see people's wings, their traumas. I would see them with cables on them. I would see, like I'm the person laying on the table. As soon as I start the Reiki session and I call on the symbols, I would start seeing things. And I would start receiving messages from the other side. And I will tell people about their life, what happened, what needs to happen, what needs to change. And in my mind, I thought I was helping these people. And a lot of people, and it was word of mouth. I did not advertise for it. People were just coming because they heard from somebody that she helped me, I did this. So what happened there is my ego got bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where I thought I am the one who's doing all that. And it's so confusing because I was also praying. I was going to church every Sunday. I was practicing the faith, but I wasn't really, because it was my ego. It's like it's me. And the attack kept on getting stronger and stronger. One time we were on vacation. We rented an Airbnb, and there was multiple bedrooms, and I was sleeping in a bedroom toward the outside. There's a door to the outside, and the room had 2 beds, and I slept on one, and my younger son, he slept on the other bed. And I'm there. Of course, I have the rosary, but it wasn't in my hand, it was under my pillow. And I was just laid in bed, and I just closed my eyes, and I saw that same creature. He came from the door on top of me. And I can't breathe, I can't move. So I grab my rosary and I start praying, and he flees. But I lived several years in fear. I was afraid of the devil. I did not know the power of Jesus. I started listening to, I stumbled across the Exorcist Files podcast, Father Carlos Martin. And I start listening to those episodes. And I realize I'm not the only one. The devil is real. And what I'm feeling is real. Those attacks are real. One time, oh, since I was doing both, so the devil, he takes really liking in those people because he knows he can take you to the other side. I met someone. When I met, he's a guy, and I thought I met my person. For the first few months, it was fantastic. We had so much in common. We did so many things together. And I'm seeking love, of course, because I've been single for a long time. I did not know that this guy, he worshiped the devil. We prayed together. I did not know that he was praying for somebody else, not my God, not Jesus. And don't let anybody pray for you ever, because you never know who they're calling on, and you never know who they're praying for. And one time, he was drawing symbols on my back. And one night, I was sleeping in bed and I was attacked. So I call him. He comes over and he hugs me, and then he chokes me, this guy. He chokes me and he said, "This one is mine." I knew at that moment there was something not right with this guy. And he was into polyamorous. He was into, dressing up, not conservatives. And he was into things that I wouldn't even dream of doing, and he would cross my boundaries nonstop. Like if I say, I don't want to eat ice cream, he would push for it till I break. At that point in my life, it became an addiction. Basically, I was addicted to him. And to get out of that addiction, I actually had to go through counseling. 1 year, I was seeing a counselor and a life coach just to get over that addiction. At one point in that relationship with this guy, I visited a shrine back home, and I prayed. And right after that night, after I prayed, Archangel Michael showed me in a dream. I don't know who am I. I know Archangel Michael, he protects the church. But I know what I saw was real. He showed me 2 paths. You either stay with this guy and you have the free will, and he showed me what my life's going to be, or you choose Jesus, and he showed me what my life's going to be. It's like, what are you talking about? Of course I'm going to choose Jesus. I remember I came back, I broke up with this guy, and I started to listen to the Exorcist Files. It's actually what changed me is the Exorcist Files podcast, because I realized the devil is so real. And I realized that the devil and his minion, they're very smart. They've been around for 6,000 years, and they know us more than we know ourselves. And they prey on us, and sometimes they show us things that you think it's light, but it's not. And now I know that the discernment of spirit, it's very, very important. So when you receive a vision or a message or anything of that sort, first of all, seeking those things, it's a breaking of the first commandment. And this is the sin of Adam and Eve. That's how we fell, because we wanted to be God. So for me to seeking information that God did not reveal it to me, that means I want to be God, and I'm breaking the first commandment. That was my sin. That's why I start going to church on every Saturday. I go to confession every Saturday, and I confess that same sin multiple times. And people, they ask me, like, do you confess the same thing? You don't believe that God forgives you? If I still think with my ego, that means I'm committing this sin over and over again. That means I need to go back and say, God, forgive me. So I got rid of everything related to Reiki. I asked a priest to come and bless my home. I was really, really having hard sleeping. I was having nightmares. I was being attacked nonstop at the same time, because I know because of the rosary, because I believed if I'm wrapping the rosary around my hand, I'm holding Mother Mary's hand, and she protected me. And then I learned from Father Carlos Martin the power of the holy water. So now I sprinkle my home with holy water, and I kept on receiving messages after I let go of all that life. And when I received those messages, like, nope, they're not from God, and I refuse to accept them. All my Reiki certificate, I shred them. All my Reiki tools that I used in the past, I got rid of them. I sprinkled them with the holy water. First, I called the Diocese of San Diego and I said, hey, I have those items. I want to get rid of them. And then finally, when priest, he told me, just get rid of them. Like, you don't need to give them to the diocese. So I sprinkled them with holy water, and I said, God, they're yours. They're not mine. I don't want them. So I got rid of everything. Gosh, I was so into the stones and all that occult life. And can you imagine if I was successful in awakening the Kundalini? I couldn't even think of how scary that would be. So after that, I still met people who wanted the old version of me. And friends, I have one particular friend, she was going through a hard time, and she came to me and was like, tell me what's going to happen. Tell me this, tell me that. Like, I don't do that anymore. And I can pray for you, and I can pray and ask, but I don't do that. And I gave her an answer, and she didn't like the answer, and the relationship ended. And I had to walk away from, I would say, all my relationships. The people who wouldn't accept me, the person I am today. I walked away from that life and from those relationships. And I realized how important it is, the discernment of spirit. So anything, literally anything, as small as eating an apple, I would ask, should I eat this apple now? And the answer, if you feel peace in your heart, that's the answer of yes. And if you feel trouble, the answer is no. I am so grateful for today. I do work for a religious order, and I believe that's the reason I was protected and I was saved from the devil, because he was in my home, trying to take me to the other side. And I struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts and all kind of not godly thoughts. I would say a small story that happened this past weekend. I am not perfect in all mean, I am still work in progress, and I still pray, and I ask for discernment of spirit and God's help, and my angels have been, they work very hard. um, so this past Saturday, I was helping out a ranch that they built cottages for people who are bridging from addiction into life. And there were leftover food, and the lady, she said, you want to take food with you? For me, it's like, man, I don't know, I don't want to take food. I'm still gonna go shopping. And so I said, yeah. I had that feeling. It's like, yep, you should take a couple sandwiches. So I make 2 sandwiches, and I take dessert, and I put it in the car, and then I left the location, and I was guided to go into a store. So I go to the store, and I don't need anything. Like, I really want to go home. I walk in the store, and then I leave, and then I get to my car, and I look at the sandwiches, and I hear it. It's not a voice. It's a knowing. It's something inside of me tells me, you're going to give these 2 sandwiches to a homeless person who needs to eat right now. I said, okay, where do I find this homeless person? And I look to the left, like literally, I look to the left, and there's a guy laying on the ground. So I grab the sandwiches, and I go to him, and I say, good morning, sir. Do you want to eat? He looks at me. Yes, please. I gave him the sandwiches, and he instantly started eating. Homeless people, they don't like to be given food because they're afraid of poison, afraid people will poison them. But when God wants something to happen, he make it happen, including me being here today. Yep, when I left the house this morning, my car was acting out, and I was like, what's going on? And my car is new. I was like, okay, Mother Mary, let's do this. Hail Mary, full of grace. So yep, that's my story.
If you liked this video and it gave you hope, be sure to subscribe for more stories of hope. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories. And why not share it with someone you love?